Hello and welcome, Church on the Mall family and friends. This is your pastor, Alex Evangelista. I am here with Sheina Martinez from Bethany Christian Services. We are so thankful that you are tuning in to hear more about this partnership that Church on the Mall session has approved to explore and to further. And I'm really excited to welcome Sheina here to this space so we can hear more about her and of the work of Christ that Bethany Christian Services is doing. So welcome, Sheina. Why don't we begin with our first question as a way of introduction? Tell us more about you and a little bit of a general overview of Bethany Christian Services.
Sure. So my name is Sheina Martinez. I'm the program director of Transitional Foster Care, which is just one of our many programs here at Bethany Christian Services. Personally, I have worked in the child welfare field for over 15 years. I've served as a foster parent myself for 7 years. My husband and I have served 11 foster children during our time. So I both work it and live it, which is really, really cool. But Bethany Christian Services is a social service agency that does a bunch of things. Our primary focus is foster care and adoption, foster care, domestic foster care, immigrant foster care, and refugee foster care. Adoption through foster care, adoption, private adoption, and international. We do counseling services, pregnancy counseling services, and also preventive work to support families.
Yeah, thank you, Sheina. And I mean, that sounds like such a big mission, a lot of wonderful things on how to take care of a community. So I'm curious, that I'm sure the congregation's curious, how did you, Bethany Christian Services, and Church on the Mall initially get connected?
Sure. So I am, again, the program director of Transitional Foster Care, and it's a program that specifically focuses on immigrant foster care. We have been doing this program within Bethany for the past 3 years in the Delaware County area, and now we are expanding into the Montgomery County area. And so we just did a huge email blast of over 20 churches, and the Church of the Mall, Pastor Alex, was like, hey, who are you? What are you doing in our neighborhood, and how can we learn more? So it was so encouraging and so great to just, get a reply from a church that says, hey, you're serving children, there is a need, and how can we help? So Pastor Alex jumped on and say, hey, let's meet now. And we were like, what, now? Okay, cool. So we were able to just talk about our services and just the need of families and support from the church that we have for our youth who are crossing over the Mexican border without any parents. So yeah, that's how we ended up getting intertwined.
Yes, thank you, Sheina. And I'll share on the Church on the Mall side, when I received that email, part of what I was discerning before even bringing it up to our session, to our council, to really deliberate if this is a partnership we would want to explore. Part of that discernment was really being honest with myself of there are many nonprofits that we could partner with, but there's something different that happens when an organization is coming to, starting a new branch here in Plymouth Meeting. There is a need that is present. There are partnerships that are being sought. I almost saw it as a call. Is this a call possibly that Church on the Mall is being asked to respond to? Because there is a need in the community. And I've always understood call as when a need meets a gift that we could give, that is a call, right? Serving as a pastor, sure, that's one way. But if your gift is being really good, and I know there's church members out there who are excellent at the art, when there is then a need for art worship space to look great for Easter, that's a call right there, because they're able to jump in. So what is the call for us here at Church on the Mall? When session deliberated, we saw that this was a call that we are called to answer, to be supportive of especially those unaccompanied minors who are coming to our community. And so I'm wondering, Sheina, can you speak to some of the ways that Church on the Mall could be involved? I know that there's different ways that we could get connected on how we can be supportive of this ministry, specifically here in Plymouth Meeting.
Certainly. So the biggest need is we really need folks to step up to serve as foster parents. Foster parents are such a critical role in the time of this very fragile time of our kiddos. So they are experiencing so much trauma in their home country, and they take the dangerous journey to cross over the Mexican border. And us as a program, we have the privilege to serve these children during their time in our program before we're able to reunite them with their families. But we can't do it. We're not a shelter. We need families in Montgomery County to say, hey, I have an extra bed. Sure, bring me a 7-year-old from Guatemala who needs to stay in my home anywhere from 10 to 30 days, and he can get involved into my family, attend my church, and do all those different things until we're able to reunite him with his family. As a foster family, you would do exactly what you would do with your own kids. So that's the biggest needs. When we are unable to accept a child from the border, unfortunately, they have to go into a shelter site with hundreds and thousands of kids. That's not very family friendly. But not everybody can be a foster parent. So very practical way, hey, right now, not at this time, I'm not able to accept a child into my home and serve in that capacity. But luggages, all of our children fly back out to their sponsors or their families, which could be in various states here in the US. And so providing a brand new luggage that they can go travel back to their mother or their father, sister, or brother. Luggages, neck pillows as they travel, pajamas for their first night in their foster home when they're scared, and a good Spider-Man pajama for a 7-year-old boy can be just like very comforting. So those are like the very practical way if you can't step up to be a foster parent.
Yeah, thank you, Sheina. And I think that's one of the exciting things that this will be one of the many ways we'll be sharing with our congregation about this partnership. I know we will be inviting you here shortly in the coming weeks, and that we'll be having a pajama drive at the end of June as well. So there are going to be many opportunities, friends, that you'll be able to partner, to participate, to be a part of this collaborative effort that we are endeavoring on, whether it's bringing those pajamas, like you said. It could be Spider-Man pajamas in many sizes, because we don't know how many boys we'll have in our neighborhood, to having luggage drive down the road, to possibly, if we do have families in our congregation who will foster, maybe you won't be able to do that, but you can be the family that brings the meal on the Sundays that the children are here, that maybe you can be part of that that inner circle for those families who are fostering, that when Andrea and Alex maybe need a date night on Friday night, you're able to step in. So we're really excited that there are many levels of way that you can participate in this work. I would say at the most important level that I would ask everyone to do is to be praying for all of these children coming, to be praying for Bethany Christian Services and their work, and that these children can really feel loved in this space that they will be inhabiting for a bit, that they can feel the love of Christ, the love of community, and that everything else, friends, I invite you to discern what your level of partnership may be. So I wonder, Sheina, can you share a little bit more about that? So there are many ways, of course, to partner, and we're excited that getting the word out is step number one, making sure that we're praying with and for you, and that we can do what we can to step up as well. But share a little bit more about the accompanying minors who are arriving in Plymouth Meeting. Do they have legal status? What are their ages? Could you share a little bit more about that?
Sure. So when families in Central America, typically Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, make the choice to come here to the U.S. to hopefully migrate here, many of them flee their countries because of gang affiliation, of trafficking issues, of just wanting to come to the U.S. for a better, safer life. They make the journey, they cross over, they're apprehended by Border Patrol, they get into the care of Office of Refugee Resettlement. A lot of the times people are like, oh, these undocumented kids, they are technically documented. The Office of Refugee knows exactly which children are coming over. They document them. They give us legal paperwork stating that that the government knows that these children are here. And then they call agencies like Bethany to say, hey, can you work this case? Can you care for this child in one of your foster homes while your case management team works to reunite them with their families? So once they come to us, we care for them. And then we're able to work on reuniting them with their families. They have their legal case isn't closed. They have an open legal case, and that's one thing that we don't really take part in. We offer them a free lawyer. The lawyer meets with them, but their legal case can take 2 to 3 years. So that is well beyond our time with them. So our focus is really just keeping them safe. We know that they're documented children without any family right now. And so we care for them and allow the government and the legal system to process them as they see fit. But we know that while they are in our care, we are just loving on them, caring on them, and meeting their every need.
And so what are the ages of these children typically?
Yep. So children who cross over can be 0 to 17 years old. Some of them, or most of them, come as a sibling group. Some of them can be a pregnant teen or a parenting teen. Yeah, so typically our program takes them age 5 until 17, because we don't have many families open to a parenting team. But if we do, then we could take a teenager with her, baby.
Right, right. And what is so where are the parents or parents, and what effort is being made to reunite these minor children with them?
Yeah. So their parents are here or their family member or friend is
Mm,
here in the US. 99% of our kids that have crossed over, that have been admitted into our program, we have been able to reunite them with a family or a friend here in the US. We already know what their name is, what their telephone number is, what their address is, as soon as they cross over the border. Our case management team vets them, deems them as safe, run clearances on them, check their identification, birth certificates. It's a big vetting process, but typically we're able to reunite them anywhere from 10 to 30 days with their families. Their families could be in Ohio, Florida, Alabama. We've been so far as to fly kids over to California. And so that's where the luggages end up coming in. So once we deem them as safe people, then we are able to reunite the child with their family. Sometimes it's their mother, their father, sister, brother, uncle. Yep.
yeah, and I guess what's kind of sticking out to me, you said 10 to 30 days while these children are being reconnected. I can only imagine, being you have two choices of either a big shelter that maybe is
Mhm.
not family friendly, to the second option, if it's available, is to be with an organization like you and with foster families that they're I can see why a Spider-Man pajama, and they may not be coming with any clothes or any
Nope.
luggage or any backpacks. How meaningful that could be, and that it's not for 3 years. You're
Right.
talking about you're giving them the space to really just be loved and cared for before um, they're reconnected with their families, and then going through that legal status, that legal work um, from there as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, so can you share a story possibly on the impact churches have had in their partnership with you all?
Sure. So most of our families come from the church. We all know the church is called up to care for the widows and the orphans, and that's exactly what these kids are. These children are parentless at this time. They need someone to step in and really be that parent figure until we can work everything out and make sure that they are going to a safe space. And so again, most of our licensed families come from within churches. We specifically have a church out in Bucks County that has, when I say really stepped up, I mean really stepped up, from their pastor to their youth pastor to their congregation members. Like it's like flooding the church. So they have several members in their church that have stepped up, and it is a great way to support each other. So if I'm fostering, you're fostering, me and my husband need a date night, then you and your wife can babysit our foster kids. Members within the church, as you mentioned, can bring meals, and it really is a more supportive system when the church can step up as a unit.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Sheina. And I think that's exactly right, that the church as a unit stepping up. I'm reminded of the imagery that Paul gives us of the body of Christ. And if I use that metaphor, even within the church on the mall, some of us may be doing, like I said, the dinners. Some of us may be doing the pajamas. Some of us may be doing the luggage. Some of us may be the foster parents. That each one of us is stepping and doing this work, because we are reminded that even in our own organizing document, the Book of Order, right? I love it, because there's the 6 great ends of the church, and one of them is the shelter and the nurturing of the spiritual fellowship of the children of God. And what an opportunity to discern in the many ways we are and can do that with these children who will be in our neighborhoods, in our community. I know, Sheina, that you have so much more you could share, right? For those who are fostering, there is a school during the day. There's also an after-school daycare. Of course, if you're working, there is a lot of training that goes in, a lot of vetting that goes in. They do really good job of making sure that the people who are taking care of these kids are vetted appropriately. And all that kind of information, I know that you will be sharing with us on a more formal orientation process, as well as when you come and visit us, what that orientation / training looks like, because even like the trauma-informed care, every time I have talked to you, I really admire how you really equip the people to not feel like, I'm gonna go into this like super confused. No, you're equipping us, and then even those who do end up doing fostering, we're not doing it on our own. You're always there for any questions along the way, and I really appreciate that. So I know you'll have time to share more about that too. Do you have any final remarks you would like to share with us, Sheina?
I don't. I'm just looking forward to meeting your congregation, sharing what the need is, and as you mentioned, just prayer. Like, everyone can't step into this specific work, but just praying for our staff as we work with traumatized children, as we work with the government system, as we work to just love on these children again during their one of the most difficult, scariest times of their life. Just pray for us as a staff, our children who are in our program trying to understand everything, and our families who are seeking just for a better life for their kids. As a parent, I want the best for my kids, and that's really what these kids' parents are also feeling.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Sheina. And we'll definitely be holding you all in prayer. Friends, if you're watching this video before these dates, hold these dates in your calendar. If you're watching it after, you're welcome to skip this part. But on June 4th, Sheina and I will be at the Plymouth Township Day. So you're welcome to come there to ask us any questions you may have. June 5th, friends, during our service, we will have a moment of mission during our service. Of course, it's Pentecost Sunday, so we'll have a chance to take our family church picture. But after that, while we're having fellowship, coffee, and I believe maybe some cake, Sheina will be present to answer any further questions we may have. And that will be offered both right in person and online for our biweekly coffee hour fellowship. So that's June 5th. June 26th, I'll be sharing more information down the road, but we'll have our pajama drive, our first opportunity to continue to partner with Bethany Christian Services. And then after that, we will be following up with you all soon about a fostering information session that will be available in our area. So save those dates. We really look forward to welcoming you, Sheina, at our place of worship very, very soon. Thank you, friends, for joining us for this informal kind of Q&A. We look forward to hearing from you and then hopefully getting to talk more about how we can continue partnering with Bethany Christian Services. Thank you, friends.